Are you ready to get the hydrofacial glow? Loved in 87 countries across the world. It's not a facial, it's a hydrofacial. Now available across the UK. Visit hydrofacial.co.uk to find your nearest location.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Yes! Do you know what it is today, girls?
Yes!
International Thunderbirds Day.
National
Harriet,
Thunderbirds.
I didn't know you cared. Oh my goodness, I'm very impressed.
Yes, it
you'll have
took
to
hours. It took hours.
Join my hat making brigade.
I know. I like
You looked very James Bond, darling.
Because we're actually showing it now. And it had a very interesting comment, didn't it, from somebody?
Yes, there were a few observations. I think I had a pack of Treber mints or something in my pocket.
That's what you say.
That's what I said.
We all feel very motivated when we start a new year. We have these New Year's resolutions, and we've been sort of suggesting to people, well, why not use this lockdown as a reinvention of who you want to be?
If you had a choice through the entire time of the world, who would you like to duet with on TikTok? Who would be your dream duet?
That's a hard one. I mean, I'm a big fan of Miley Cyrus. You know, she's
Yeah.
You cannot block a Gemini in. You can't do it. Do not give me categories. Look at everything I do. Don't say I'm this or that or that. Don't block me.
Yeah.
Because I'll do exactly what you think I can't do. And I'll do it even more, you know?
But I'm the same.
Darling, I'm also a Gemini, but I have no idea what's rising in me except my temperature and my age. But we'll leave it there.
I remember two things. The first was that some workmen shouted something out to you in Welsh. And I said, you know what they said? And you said, forgive me for saying this, no, but it was probably show me your tits.
Cats like classic FM and dogs like reggae.
Is that for real?
I don't know how they've found that out, but I'm passing on information. Don't
You
shoot
are a
messenger.
mine of information.
I know, some of it I wish I didn't know.
My husband and the kids were outside absolutely howling with laughter. And eventually, after 20 minutes of really kind of, giving it all, giving the cougar thing to this lovely young man who was gorgeous, came back and I said, so what's so funny? And Ed just said to me, Emma, you've got no trousers on.
We're going to have a rehearsal, Wonderbirds. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3.
Turn around.
It's wonderful. It was wonderful. It was wonderful. Sherry, don't tip your head too forward. I'm worried your wig will fall off. Right. Okay. Turn around and face away from the camera, and I'm going to start the music. And every time you sing the words "turn around," you've got to turn back to the camera. This is choreography with the Wonderbirds. You can see where you've slept at the back, Sherry. Right. Here we go.
Facing away.
Okay, Wonderbirds. After 3, 2, 1, go!
Turn around.
Then turn back. Little bit lonely, and you never coming round. Go!
Turn around.
Every now and then,
Turn around.
A little bit tired of listening to the sound of my tears. Go!
Turn around.
Every time I get a little bit nervous, the best of all the kids have combined.
Turn around.
Every now and then, turn back. Little bit terrified, then I see the look in your eyes.
Turn around.
Yes!
The king of innuendo himself.
Actually, I'm not a big fan of innuendos, but I do like to slip one in every now and then.
Why, it's me, Linda Lusardi, the lovely lolly lender.
Curses!
Linda Lusardi, the lovely lolly lender. Oh, crikey! Oh, you're quite a mouthful.
Yes, I most certainly am.
She came over to me and said, I have to have a rabbit. I have to have a rabbit. And I said to her, don't worry. I'll get you one. And we both shared the same hairdresser. So I said to Lino, our joint hairdresser, I will can I send it to you and you can pass it on to her, which he did. And then several weeks passed, and I went back into the hairdresser's to have my top up, and he just turned around to me out of the blue and said, less than a minute. And I'm like, sorry? He said, less than a minute. And I thought, oh yes, I know exactly what he's saying.
So I'm sat and the dogs were going crazy, and I thought, what's up with them? So I just shot off my pants around my ankles and went into the kitchen. And here's Dot's in the kitchen, so she's got her head in the sink. And I thought, how am I going to get Dot's house? This is a great big cow. So I thought, I get something out the fridge. So I opened the fridge. As soon as I opened the fridge, Dot stuck her head in. I pulled everything out of the fridge.
It's time for the Wonderbirds show. Are you ready? She's been in every major soap for 30 years. It must be Debbie. There was Brit Ass Empire and Ab Fab, but our next is more than that. She's our Wonderbird number 2. It must be Harriet. Bad rhyme, sorry. A loose woman for 14 years, and Maureen in Corrie, plus the cardboard set of Crossroads. Number 3 must be Sherry. Now usually Dee Anderson would be the 4th reveal, but instead, my friend, showbiz legend, it's Hillary O'Neill. It's so lovely to see all of you and to be here on the show. It only leaves for me to say those immortal words. The Wonderbirds are go.
My darling mum was very beautiful. She had Elizabeth Taylor's shoulders and a décolletage. I got my father's chest.
And they measured the brain activity. And of all the things that you could do to stimulate your brain, apparently having an orgasm is it. You know, it floods you with endorphins and God knows what. And all areas of the brain lit up.
The thing is, Harriet, I am worried about my herb garden. Because...
Is that a euphemism? What are you talking about?
Well, because I'm just afraid that it's going to dry up. So
water it. You've got to water it.
Yes, and basil and rosemary are very upset. I mean, the
How
thing is,
are they speaking?
They have been talking to me, but saying, you know, I've got to keep the whole thing moist, the herb garden.
Do we need to stop now?
Yes.
You'll find the
Can't
history
wait.
of 52 cocktails. You can try a new one every week. I tell stories about where I was when I first experienced them, different celebrities that I drank these cocktails with.
I'm confused. Surely it should be every day. Think who you're talking to, darling. It's a new cocktail every day. It's not a problem.
I love it. Where do you live? I'm coming to your house, Harriet. It's like a fun house.
Human body and energy. We're all energies housed in physical bodies. That's what we are, energies. And when the physical body stops, like an old car, the energy gets out.
The weight has gone on in places it never did before. Darling, my back is like a duvet. That's all I'm saying to you. That it's a back fat duvet help.
It makes your back ache. I've got a hot water bottle stuck down my knickers at this very moment.
Yeah, I'm so sorry, Sandy, if you had to hear that.
Because
I honestly don't know what to say. I feel like I've intruded in some way.
It's a self-help hot water bottle group. So I'm so sorry. Please don't sit down. It could be a disaster.
If I have one fear in life, it's fear of spoiling the plot for Sherry Houston will kill us. It's like, never mind the cat. I want to see Sherry loose on the seafront like that.
Two questions were asked about that episode. It went, is that you playing drums? I went, yes, because I've been playing for 38 years and I've always played.
I can vouch for that.
Yes, I was taught properly. So, I meet actors who say they're drummers, and there's a kit there, and I go, "Oh, sticks, go on, have a go." And they go, "I said, do you play?" And they went, "Oh yeah, I play." And they go and they get on the kit and go, and I look at them and go, "No, you don't."
There's nothing wrong with my current voice, except from the fact that it sounds very posh. It sounds like I should be reading the shipping forecast.
I said, my Wi-Fi is driving me mad. And he said, how long have you been married?
The only way to get there is to start by loving yourself.
Wonder
Wonderbirds will be on a cruise and Steph will be with us because you're so much fun to have around, Steph. Actually, I suddenly remembered on that, wasn't that the cruise that we went on where we went through the Bay of Biscay and we were all sitting around a table and then we all disappeared?
But they hadn't said that there was a storm as well. And I suddenly saw all the officers just very subtly part their legs, part their feet, and just plant themselves. And sure enough, within 30 seconds, the first pitch of the ship came. And it just, I don't know if you remember, but it just went up in the air and fell.
One of the officers came to me and said, listen, we're going to go through the Bay of Biscay. Let me give you a tip. He said, I'll take you there myself. We have to go to the middle of the ship and we have to sit on the floor, and so that we're in the middle of the ship, so you don't tip one way or the other. And then I realized he was as pissed as I was. You're here.
Here in the Caribbean, at its most highest point, you find me amongst the glorious birds of paradise, known as Debius, Dius, Harriatus, and Sherry. Yes, please, double if you don't mind. Nicknamed the Wonderbirds, whose glorious plumage is really remarkably still on show, and Debbie Arnold's really is on show today. She might need some mosquito netting, if you ask me frankly, but there we are.
Brilliant.
Hello, dears.
Two of the loveliest people, and they're coming to be with us today. Yay! Where are you? There they are.
Hello. Welcome to our nest.
Welcome, both of you. You look very happy for an old married couple, I have to say.
We are. You know, I think
but you remember being in Pinewood?
I do remember, and I do remember being in bed with Trevor Howard. And Nicky Henson.
Oh my goodness.
I was
a busy day, darling. That's a very busy day.
I remember Bob Stevens saying that he'd given up drinking with a bottle of champagne in his hand.
That's not drinking. Gin is drinking.
How to style out a Christmas hat, Mike. That's good. Not that you don't look good, Dee, but just Mike looks.
I didn't know you had such a big one, Mike. I've always wanted to say that.
Every social event that I get invited to is a calculation between what's the chances it'll kill me and what's the chances that I'll have a really good feed. And I have to make daily judgments. So, Julie, get us over to your place because I know we'll have a good feed and it'll be safe.
Yeah, we're treble vaxed, and yeah, you will have a good feed. Deal.
Can I tell you a story? Yes.
Yeah.
Tell me a story. Well, I was doing a television series, a very, very camp television series in Tel Aviv. And I was given a driver called Ambatil, I can never say his name, who arrived every morning and took me off to the studio. I came down one morning and I said to him, I am so fed up with this place we are staying because I cannot do a thing. It is totally ridiculous. I said, my Wi-Fi is driving me mad. And he said, how long have you been married? Mr. Schneider, who did all the fittings to the costumes and everything. And when he said, no, you're going to have the little brassiere, you see, it will be little strips across the little nipples here. The strips will come and the breast will show through the strips. And I went, actually, I don't think there'd be enough to put anything there where if you put the strips across, that would have been it, darling. Just like a straight cross. I kept saying to him, he said, no, the big breast would be pushed up and then the little bit of flesh would be showing around the edge of the thing. And then you put and I kept saying, Mr. Schneider, I don't think that's going to work. And he said, oh yeah. And I went, Mr. Schneider, and I just took my top down. He went, oh my God. Oh my God. He rushed to the phone. He was ringing them, the top people, them saying, she has no breasts. She has no breasts. There's no time for the operation. There's no time for the operation. Breast, no breast. What can we do? He sent me to a hormone specialist.
No.
Really?
You know, I remember we were sitting in the car once, and I said to Tess, she was literally 3 years old, And I said, Tess, Mummy and Daddy are thinking about getting a new car. And she went, oh, what colour? And I said, probably blue or grey. And she went, yes, I like blue or grey. And I went, oh, good. And then she went, aircon? And I went, yeah, it'll have aircon. And she went, yeah, good. And she didn't even know what aircon was.
What?
Aircon?
How gorgeous.
It's three.
But it's all those kind of things. It's just all those kind of things, you know. And I'd shout upstairs and say, Tess, what are you doing? And she'd go, I'm just trying to ride the cat. And I'd go, please don't ride the cat. And she'd say, Dad, she'd shout down and say, I'd say, Tess, come on, we're going shopping. We're going to Sainsbury's. And she'd go, that's great. Can we take the cat to choose his own food? And I'd go, no, we can't take the cat to Sainsbury's to choose his own food.
I grew up in Trinidad in the Caribbean. Now, bear in mind, in the Caribbean, everyone is listening to their soca and reggae music. But I was a nerd, so I'd be sitting there listening to classical music.
We are better at multitasking, aren't we? I mean, just generally, I wonder why that is. But, you know, if you ask a guy to do something, he can only do one thing at a time.
Oh, my husband, I said, can you put out the bins? And then could you just go and get the size? He goes, don't overload me. So true. Two things. And I'm doing 20.
Why is it? When you say to a man, when you are, you know, because we're, Harriet, me and Dee are not in a relationship at the moment, but when you are in a relationship, you say to the guy that you're with, you, could you change the light bulb? Can you just do nothing? And why don't they see it? Why can you live in a house where all the light bulbs have gone out and they don't even notice?
No. What is that?
I know.
But it's what I mean, that's why I haven't been in a relationship for many moons, because actually I can get it done faster, quicker, anything better myself. I don't need somebody else to do it for me. Thank you.
If you ask,
so it's easier.
If I ask him to do something, I said, could you just, say change that light bulb? I would guarantee you, he goes, in a minute.
Nobody's arse from behind looks wonderful.
Well,
you tell me one arse you can look at and go,
very true.
But Sherry, I want to know about your mother, because my mother was also a beauty queen. And my mother used to say, God gave me nothing but my looks. And she was so confident about the way she looked. Oh. And we're not, because there was no social media in those days, everybody, if women like my mother and your mother knew, and I don't know about yours, Harriet, or yours, Dee, but they were so confident in the way they looked because they didn't have anyone they didn't compare themselves to others.
No,
like
but my mother had a belief in herself. That's what it was.
My mother too.
She was wearing a bikini at 80. I haven't worn one since I've been 5.
Do you, Sarah, have a memory of being the Pearl?
I do remember. I remember because it was a family affair, the panto. Mum trained to be a dancer when she was younger, so she was always in the panto and she was usually the fairy. And I remember before going on, being in my little tutu, and I remember her going, where's my bloody wand? and me going, here's your bloody wand.
I remember when I was about 13 being the ghost of Christmas past in Scrooge, and I had to wear this long white caftan, and we had the local boys' school, because that was an all-girls school there, and they all started wolf whistling as I walked on. And I completely forgot dried all my lines.
It's about my mum, who to this day, she's 90, I've never seen her without her makeup on. And I was in a blubbing state. It was the worst stage of my divorce and separation from my ex-husband. And I remember she rang, it was about 2:00 in the afternoon, and she rang me up, and I was and on the floor she said, so where are I? I said, I'm in the bedroom, still in my pajamas. And she said, well, it's 2:00 in the afternoon. She said, now, she said, look, get in the shower, blow dry your hair, put some makeup on, and then call me back.
Good for her. That sounds like my mum.
and I was at that stage. Whoever told me what to do, I was there, because I don't think I could think for myself. So I did. I got in the shower. I put some makeup on. I blow dried my hair, and I rang her back. And she said, that's the person you need to look in the mirror. Look in the mirror. That's the person you need to sound like.
You see, the thing is that's the whole thing about looking good and feeling good. Well, people say, oh, you're so vain, you wear makeup. My mother used to say, I think women who don't wear makeup are very vain. And I'd say, why is that? And she said, because they think they look good enough without it.
I love that.
Do people get very angry with you when it won't stop raining?
Oh my gosh, yes. And I think it's one of the kind of risks to being a weather presenter. For example, only this weekend, you know, the weather is a funny one. You know, I've said to my boss before, I've said, I want to be like Mystic Meg, you know, wheel me out with a crystal ball and some dry ice underfoot, darlings. And, you know, can I do a weather forecast like Mystic Meg?
And Righto was like the top voiceover person, the top, in the sort of 90s, and he and I worked together really all the time. And I remember one day we went along and we did the first ever commercials for Mates condoms, and that no one had ever done. You know, we just thought, literally, you get the script, you go through it, and he went, "Oh my God, this is for condoms," and we went, wow. So we did this voiceover, and then we walked off to do our next voiceover, and the next voiceover was for Pampers. And he turned to me and said, well, obviously the Mates didn't work very well, did they?
If you have got small breasts and you're not worried about the lift, then they're really good for giving you a smooth look without the nipples showing.
Where do they go? So you put them on your nipples and you pull them up your front? Or
Yeah,
where do
like
they go?
basically you
the
stick
ear
it on
bit,
there,
isn't it?
and then you pull it to the desired place and stick that bit down.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Holds it.
It's the ear bit is the key, isn't it?
Yeah, this bit is the bit that sticks, but it is so sticky that you could trim it if you got a dress. But also, they show in the design that you can put it on the side and pull it that way if you've got something coming down here and you just want to push them together a little bit. I think
I probably need about 20 of them.
Honestly, well, you've seen the size of mine. Mine are really heavy. I think we got on the scales and they were £2 each, my tip.
Darling, trust me, these are about the same.
Linda, that's in old money though.
Yes, exactly.
Old money. Well, mine are old tits.
I remember my grandmother doing a very thick vegetable soup. And as we left her house, we'd take off down the road actually and fly. I've knitted cat blankets, baby blankets for the hospital. I've knitted hamster blankets, so there are hamster blankets all around the country.
Oh,
hi!
He is divine.
Happy birthday, Sherry. Now, little bird tells me you've reached the big 7-0.
I'm so grateful, and thank you so much, and thank you to all of you, because I can't tell you what it means. It was wonderful.
James Corden's doing now. This is absolutely amazing. The Wonderbirds. Let's all sing.
Boris has all of the idiosyncrasy, and he has all of the bluster.
What is that word? Then?
Aren't you a domestic goddess?
No, she doesn't cook.
You're kidding.
No.
Cook? What
Never.
is not. Cook? I don't know cook or...
She's a goddess.
I was nearly 12 weeks without seeing my husband.
How did you find that?
I made a lot of bread pudding.
Did you?
Disabled people can actually have sex. And if I have managed to convince someone to sleep with me, then there's still hope for the rest of the disabled population.
Yay! Tony doesn't sleep, and he gets up at about 5 o'clock every morning.
Sleeping in a caravan with a mass murderer from Coronation Street is no laughing matter, really, is it? And so, you know, I slept with my one eye open the whole time.
Dee, I want to ask you about Parker.
It was somebody they met because they used to go to this little pub in Cookham. There was an old man, waiter, and he'd come up and say, "What would you like to eat, madam?"
So I was 34 when I started acting.
So 5 years ago, is that right?
2 years ago, I thought.
Oh, it's Bertie my shed, and I challenged you ladies, and perhaps some of you have even frocked up at home, because we do love a frock up on this show. I challenged you, obviously, to step into your cartoonular mode, and you have not let me down. You look absolutely spectacular, ladies. I, on the other hand, leapt
It's hard in lockdown. It's hard in lockdown, Richard, to find, cartoon things to wear.
I'm Disney mad. I've gone to Disneyland since I was 8 years old, and I'm absolutely a fanatic. And so I've got little Disney memorabilia around my home.
Oh, gorgeous. I love Disneyland.
Isn't it the best?
Yeah.
You step into your world again, and you can
never
play
leave
again.
it.
And you can play.
Has it opened? Has Disneyland reopened?
No,
not yet. Not yet. It will do.
looking at us, it's probably closed for business permanently if they see this. I can't imagine the Disney franchise will be too cheered by our efforts today. I am saying, I leant on a keyboard and I thought, well, I'm not going to find blue paint during lockdown, so I leant on a keyboard and ordered this Scooby-Doo costume, which arrived 24 hours later. I can't get a printer cartridge for about a month. But this
my ears never arrived. I was going to be Minnie as well. We were going to be all Minnies, and my ears are still not here, Amazon. So I just had to make do and get some rags on. Yeah. And I found a duster.
Perfect. And also, you look gorgeous, darling, with the.
Do you like the
Cinderella.
hair?
It's perfect.
Do you like the cinder hair? This is one of those. This is one of these wigs.
Disney
Do you know one of
princess.
those?
Oh my goodness!
Wow, that's lovely.
You've always been a Disney princess, darling.
Hyde Park, Rainers Lane, King's Cross, St Pancras, Bankwood Lane, Angel, Aldgate East, Queensbury, Queensway, Queens Park, Green Park, Dagenham, Heathway, Dagenham East, Ruislip Manor, Mill Hill East, Moorgate, Moor Park, Putney Bridge, East Ham, West Ham, London Bridge, Uxbridge, Upney, Upton Park, Rodding Valley, Regent's Park, Shepherd's Bush Market, Shepherd's Bush, Kenton, Kilburn, Leighton, Loughton, Easton, Knightsbridge, Newbury Park, Kilburn Park, Woodford Wood, Green Leighton Stone, Crochley, Borough, Camden Town, Ealing, Broadway, Clapham, East Central, Covent Garden, Lambeth North, Wilson Junction, Wilson Green, Tottenham Court Road, Tottenham Howe, Wembley Central, Stepney Green, Totteridge, Westland, Turnham Green, Southgate, Northolt, Wembley Park, Wembley Park, Wanstead, Watford, Westmoor Park, Harrow, Willstone, Oval, Oakwood, Hillingdon, Highgate, Holland Park, Smith Cottage, Stockwell, Finsbury Park, Richmond, Redbridge, Rickmansworth, Piccadilly Circus, Ladbroke Road, Goochary, Cancel, Golf. Yeah, that's enough.
I don't want you growing up to be me, giving everything to chase my dreams. You don't have to worry yet. I can hold you close when she throws away your teenage heart. When you pass the test but crash the car. Big boys have to cry sometimes. It's okay if you do. When you need me, I'm here. Just gonna love you the best that I can. And when you call me 4 a.m., I'll be there. I'll be right there. So go and tear this world apart, 'cause I know you'll do it with your mama's side. All that I ask is don't grow up to be me. Grow up to be you. I know I'll catch you stealing liquor from me, 'cause I remember doing the same at 16. Wake you on the bathroom floor, make sure you're alright, 'cause when you need me, I'm here. When you get in trouble, I'll steer you clear. When you call me for a lift home, I'll be there. I'll be right there. So go and tear this world apart, 'cause I know you'll do it with your mama's heart. All that I ask is don't grow up to be me. Grow up to be you. And if you get lost among the stars, don't forget you've always got your mama's heart. Now I don't want to push you, whatever you do, grow up to be you.